I'm going to talk about RCON Technology. They came out with a press release 8:30 yesterday, and basically the press release talked about their own subsidiary, Future Gas Station, or FGS, and they own 51% of it, so it's their sub, and they're the parent. And their sub has entered into an agreement with this company called CNPC. I don't know what it stands for exactly, but basically it's also called a Petro China company. Yeah, so the actual agreement is with Henan CNPC, so it's a sales branch of Petro China Company Limited, and this branch covers an entire province, so it's a really big market. And then they're working with this agreement with Ali. They're also working with Alipay, which is Alibaba's pay platform, and they're developing a mini program named How Ke Legia on Alipay's mobile platform. Okay, so they've done this before. They did this in another province, Zhejiang, and they had good results in that province. Basically, the whole the agreement revolves around them developing this mini program. I think they already have the program. They're just using it on another province. But then basically, it's all about working. The program will work with the customers getting this membership, and then the program is like basically probably it's like an app, and it will help them, give them discounts, and it will give them other various membership benefits. And then they just talked about how number of drivers registered in Henan province exceeded 20 million. So there's a big market. This is an expansion strategic move. So it's going to bring more money into their company, and I feel like it's a good strategy because they've already done this and they achieved positive operational results like they said. That's pretty much it for this press release. Then I looked at FinViz. This is their income statement. Their income was actually pretty poor, but as a trader, we only care about whether it beats analysts' expectations, and apparently this beat analysts' expectations. I say apparently because I saw some like confounding information on the chart. When I looked at the chart, it said estimate was minus 0.18, and then as reported was 0.19, but that 0.18 doesn't, that does beat 0.19, but wait, yeah, 0.18 is better than 0.19. It should be, if they beat the estimate, then the estimate should be higher than what was reported. So I didn't understand that. So, it did go up like 3 days after that, 3 days in a row. 1, 2, 3. Well, the third day is the press release. So, okay, let's just say 2 days. But anyways, at this point, it's a multi-day gainer. And right now it's 6:23 a.m., so there's pre-market action. It's going up, so maybe this will be a fourth day. Maybe this will go even higher. I'll definitely watch this stock. Then we'll look at the balance sheet. Balance sheet looks really good. It's got a lot of cash, 30 million. And then their total assets, not the total assets, I don't want to talk about that, but the current assets, it's 129 million versus current liabilities. Where's current liabilities? It is over here, 65. So roughly double. And then they've done that many times. So they're quite, I feel like this is a healthy company. Aside from their net income, which is pretty crap, it's a very healthy company. And another thing is you have to be aware that this is the parent company, and yeah, it's not, what was it? Sorry, it's late. It was FGS. Yeah, FGS, it's not FGS's financial statements, it's just their parent company. And I feel like it's a better company, it's a bigger company. So let's look at the technicals. So this is why I wanted to look at the stock. I felt like the technicals were really kind of interesting, and they help me understand because I looked at this chart pattern before I invested in another stock, and this pattern is everywhere. You know, like stock price is going to be made up of waves, big waves, smaller waves, and even smaller waves. And then it's important for you to understand that because when you're looking at something really close up, if I only show you this picture, right? Let's say I only showed you, okay, this is all I can show you, right? Like, what would you say it's going to happen to this stock in the future? You would only think it's going to go down because you only have a limited picture. But if I show you the long-term view, like which is like, let's say 5-day trend, you know, it's been going up. Like, where would you think it's going to go now? If I just shown you this, like that's pretty much, you would assume that it's going to go up. I mean, now maybe not, but I mean, you know, it's all a matter of perspective, and that's important because it will affect our decision to make an investment. So now I want to talk to you about downtrend and uptrend. So what is a downtrend and uptrend? For me, my definition of a downtrend is on average resistance is going to be falling, and an uptrend on average support is going to be rising. And you know, you're going to have false breakouts, and false breakouts can be just a sign that the stock wants to switch trends, or it can just be you know, I guess kind of lull in the trend. You know, this went down, oh sorry, this went up, but it continued to go down, so it's just a lull in the trend. And then last but not least, basically I feel like you know, the more resistance is broken, the more bearish you have to be. The more, like, because you know, eventually there's going to be a high of the day, and you don't want to be the person who's like, oh yeah, this is going to 40, and then you know it's only at 10, and then you buy at 10, and then you expect it to go 40, and you keep holding, and then let's say it drops down to like 5, you're like, oh, you know, it's still going, never goes. So you have to manage your expectations too, and I feel like the higher the stock is, the less room there is for it to grow higher, which makes sense, right? Because at the bottom there was more room, and at the top there's less room. That's just common sense logic. So you know, I guess near opening, or not even near opening, sometimes you have stocks that spike up really high, and then the whole day they're just falling, and then you know, I mean, it's sort of the same thing here. You want to take long positions the lower a stock is, and if you're bullish on the stock. So the news was pretty good. It was good news. I would take it positively. It wasn't something that I would overlook. Another cool thing about this stock was the downtrend. So on average, resistance was falling, but then on average, support was rising too, kind of. Not, yeah, actually, on average it was. And basically, this was kind of like a pennant formation, and this was technically, I feel like this was the breakout of the pennant. And the way I like to trade a pennant is like, I will try to sell at the top, buy at the bottom, sell at the top, buy at the bottom, sell at the top. And then when it comes to this area, I feel like this is like an you don't know what's going to happen zone. I feel like this is like very 50-50, but you know, other things will affect the odds of this having a bullish breakout or a bearish breakout. And I feel like the article was, you know, positively perceived, and that's why it, you know, kept on going up. But there's two ways. I don't like to jump in and try to predict. I like to let the trend, not the trend, more like I like to let the algo decide where it's going to go. So I'll show you some slow signals right now. So basically it kept on going up, and there's two decisions you can make over here. You can either buy on the bullish breakout, okay, which is kind of scary, or you can buy while it's going down. So there was two decisions. You could have bought on like kind of a hit of EMA 5, or like a close hit, because actually it didn't even hit EMA 5. it barely hit, so it went down, and then it bounced. But it was so bullish that it didn't even touch EMA 5. So it kept on going up, and then it starts to go down, and it starts to have like kind of like a heavier drop, and it goes below EMA 10. And this is a really nice area to buy. So either you buy on the bullish breakout, which is, it's more risky, but there's more reward involved, and then yeah, you could have either bought over here, and both of them were like fine places to go long on, because it eventually went up from 7.47 all the way up to 8.6, and then initially it was, there isn't a big difference between that. So anyways, we have the long buy signals, and we have the long sell signals, and my strategy is I like to take the slow signals and then overlap them over the fast signals, and then basically if there's a signal to sell, then I don't want to take long positions. I would just like leave it alone, and if there's a signal to buy, a slow signal to buy, I'll start taking more long positions when the fast signals tell me to take long positions. So in this case, it told me to take a long position before the slow signal even told me anything. So I really could have got it in any time over here. Another thing is, like, at this point, the stock price is hitting the upper bands, and everything will look like it's an amazing point to sell, even though it's not technically an amazing time to sell. You could sell in this area, and this is like above 100% in the bands. And when I say above 100%, I mean 100% of that range. So these are decent times to sell, but if you want to hold very long, you're gonna want to use your slower, longer signals, like something like a MACD, which is what my algorithm is kind of based on. It's not entirely MACD, but there's some MACD in there. So there's a sell signal over here. I would have taken it, and then if you were to use like RSI, it's going to give you much faster signals, I would imagine. You know what, I have a indicator that I've made, and basically it shows, well, it looks kind of intimidating. Basically it shows like where to buy and sell based on thresholds that MACD sets, and like RSI's in that threshold. So it says to buy here. Wow, it said to buy over here. It said to hold, and then said to sell over here, which is, if it was falling, so it's legit. And then it says to buy again over here, and then it says to sell again over here, and then to buy again over here, and then to sell. This is why I rely on my algo. My algo's amazing. And then it says, no, the RSI is not too bad either. So RSI says to buy over here. According to MACD and my RSI, it says to buy over here, sell over here, buy over here, sell over here, buy over here, and then there's a long hold from 7.58 all the way up to 8.13. Yeah, I could look for signals from both. I could look for look at multiple indicators, and what that would help me do is it would give me confidence. So I would find agreement with my other indicators. So that's cool. That's also cool. And then I have rate of change. Rate of change is amazing. So the amazing part of rate of change is that before any other indicators, usually before, not in this case, but usually it's quite early. And basically the way rate of change works is rate of change has I believe it has a 0 line, and then as the rate of change goes above 0, that's a really good sign to buy, and as it falls, it's a really good time to sell. And then rate of change will make new highs. You want to be holding, like right over here. It was making new highs, making new highs, making new highs, and it stops making new highs over here. You want to be selling. So that's an excellent indicator as well. Then it falls, it stops making new lows right about here, and that's when we want to buy. Um, yeah, so I'll look for confluence. Volume is a good indicator to, I guess, hold on, and also look for signs to sell. Here volume was dropping. I would be very, very, very interested in selling if the price was going up and the volume was dropping, because that tells me like there's some price volume divergence, and that can be a sign of an oncoming drop. And that's all I'm going to say. Hope you enjoyed the video.